All right, what is good, everybody? Today we have a topic that I actually really want to talk about, and I feel like it's causing a little bit of buzz in the community, and it is about this character, Isolde. We've seen her in these past two chapters of Four Nights of Apocalypse, and the big question that everybody has or is speculating on is this the child of King and Diane? And honestly, I'm gonna say it right at the beginning of the video, exactly what I think. And honestly,
Maybe.
maybe. It's a big maybe. It's a big maybe, not gonna lie. There's a lot of arguments that you could make for her to be the child of King and Diane, but I feel like there's also a lot of counter arguments that you could also make to kind of like discredit or dissuade you from thinking that. However, I guess the main purpose of this video is kind of just to give my reasons why I think it kind of is, and maybe I might give some more why I think it's not, but I'm going to say why I believe this to be the child of King and Diane, or at least some good arguments on why it could be. And number one, the very first thing I want to talk about is her design. When you look at her, she does bear a striking resemblance to Diane. Like, obviously we don't have her color palette, like we don't know exactly what color her hair is or exactly how tan she is or anything like that, like or what color her eyes are. That would definitely give a lot more to it. Obviously if she had, a brown colored hair, maybe like purplish eyes or whatever color exactly that you would call that. I'm gonna just call it purple so I don't have to get really deep into colors right now, but whatever color you want to say, that would be, then she would have even more, striking appearance. But then if her hair is like orange or something, then clearly she's not going to be, or more than likely not going to be related to King and Diane. But in terms of how her eyes look, they are very similar, as we've seen, kind of through some of the iterations of Diane. Obviously Nakaba's art style has changed throughout the course of time, but the resemblance is definitely there. And then one of the biggest things here is her height. She is kind of tall. Like, she's like, when you look at her, like, we've seen enough panels to compare her to these other two guys to know that she's much taller than these other two, and we have no reason to believe that they're really short. Even Percival, who's kind of not really a good judge of, he's kind of hard to judge height off, but Percival is really short. Like, he's actually just really short, and he comes up to about like kind of where her crotch is. So it's like she is towering over him and these other dudes. Now I know a lot of people will say like, oh, since she's the child, or if she was to be the child of King and Diane, then she's a giant. She's half giant, half fairy. Then shouldn't she be much taller? She should be like giant size. While that is a strong possibility that she could be giant size, not all giants are giant,
What?
if that makes sense. Like, not all giants are mad tall. This is true in other works of fiction, and it's also true in Seven Deadly Sins. The only character that I know off the top of my head would be the master craftsman Dubs. Dubs is actually of the giant clan. It's been stated like a couple times. I mean, he was in the movie Cursed by Light. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you've seen the movie Cursed by Light, we've got to see Dubs, and he is essentially regular human size despite being a giant. So with that alone, we know that giants do not have to be like Diane, like 33 feet tall or anything crazy like that. They can be somewhat normal size. So the fact that she is slightly taller than an average person, but still much shorter than a giant, I don't really think that that discredits her from potentially being King and Diane's child. Another reason is her personality is very similar to Diane. I mean, granted, at this point, we haven't seen a lot of Isolde's character, or kind of how she's interacted with like other things. Like, we don't have a lot on her yet, obviously, but from already, she does seem kind of similar, such as when she is angry, she is quick to violence, which is something that Diane has shown numerous times. Anytime she gets mad at, like, or when she would get mad at Meliodas, or when she does get mad at Bond, she does tend to attack them. So her being mad, so Isolde getting mad at Percival, going straight out to attack him and not really listen to reason, is a very Diane-like quality. And another thing I wanted to bring up would be her magic. While her magic doesn't necessarily match, magic doesn't always necessarily have to be hereditary, but a lot of times it is, such as, like, how Jericho and her brother Gustav have the same ice magic, or Gil Thunder and his father have the same magic with their lightning abilities. It's not always hereditary, so her magic could be slightly different. And also, we don't necessarily know exactly what her magic is, or we only got to see one aspect of it, which is such as her like hitting things, and then her magic goes in like into what she hits, and then it explodes later. It's like a delayed explosion. So there's like it's really different. It is similar to Gilead, or yeah, it is similar to Gilead with the whole explosion theme of it, but at the same time it is different, and we don't know the full scope of it since we haven't heard the exact name of it yet. And for all we know, this could be something connected to her weapon, because as we know in Seven Deadly Sins, weapons can have special abilities aside from the actual wielder of said weapon. So at this exact moment, again, it is still very different from what all the other giants have showcased so far, being their like creation magic with their earth manipulation and being able to like control just basically almost every aspect of earth. And it is very different from a lot of the magics that we have seen fairies have, especially much different from King. I want to say his magic like uh disaster, we can like control some aspects of life and death, make wounds worse and that kind of stuff. Definitely her magic so far, just off of what we've seen, is very different from King and Diane's, but I still don't think that completely disqualifies her from being the daughter. And then obviously one of the bigger reasons why she could be King and Diane's kid is her relation to Tristan. We do know from the Arthurian lore, as I've talked with some of you guys about it in the comments, or some of you guys already know, as we know in the Arthurian lore, Tristan and Isolde are lovers, like they are romantically involved. So this kind of could go back to the whole how Diane did have a thing for Meliodas when she didn't remember who King was. It kind of could be like re-hinting back at that, and it would make sense for both of their kids to kind of be close, or maybe Isolde develops a crush on Meliodas' kid Tristan. It makes a little bit of sense to me. It doesn't sound that far-fetched or crazy when you really think about it. Like, it really actually doesn't. So that overall connection could be it right there. Now, I will say, if this is, if Isolde is the child of Diane and King, that does kind of disqualify her, in my opinion, from being one of the four knights, because as we know, Tristan went to go get one of the other four knights of Apocalypse. So if he went to go get one, obviously it would not, we only need the very last one. So obviously it would not be Isolde, who's kind of she's already a holy knight, so they would have known about her. So that would kind of be a bit odd or unfortunate, but hopefully we do get to see more information or more of her or more about her, because so far she is really interesting. Like, I would definitely say she's probably the most interesting out of this group of three in the Tristan platoon. And so hopefully we get to see more about her and see, is she really the child of King and Diane? Just because there's a lot of stuff there really is a lot there for people to kind of speculate on. I feel like Nakaba may reveal this soon. Like, I don't think it's going to be a really long time before we actually get to see if she is, or if she is. Obviously I'll make an update video on that if we do get confirmation anytime in the near future. But down below, I really want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think? Do you think that she is the daughter of King and Diane, or do you think she's just some random person, or do you think she's actually related to somebody else? I have seen some people, I want to say, I was talking to one guy in the comments who did believe that she was the child of Gilead, potentially, which, I mean, there could be some merits there. But I'm very curious to know what you guys are thinking down below, who she could be related to, if anybody at all. So that being said, make sure you guys like the video as well, subscribe to the channel for more content and theories coming up in the near future. You guys all enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you all in my next video.